My name is Jamin Goecker. I'm a realtor in South Central Alaska, and my mission is to help you to build an intentional and significant legacy for yourself and your family by coaching you in real estate. The purpose of today's video is to give you a good market update for what's going on in Eagle River. So this is definitely a market that's pretty near and dear to my heart. I live here personally, so this is something I'm watching pretty closely on a regular basis. So we'll jump into that in just a minute. Before we get started though, do get this video liked, do like and subscribe so you can receive content like this in the future. Without further ado, let's go and jump into today's market update for Eagle River. First thing we're going to check out if we're looking at Eagle River is what's going on in the residential market. And the first thing we check out in the residential market is what's going on with the inventory. So it's going to be staying pretty much the same from where it was the year before. We're not seeing a huge cut like what we've seen in the previous years. We're seeing that there's actually about 103 homes, 105 homes were on the market this time last year. Now it's 103, so pretty much the same. Secondly, we want to just check and see how many properties are actually selling in this market. So we see that this time last year, there were about 56. This year, it's roughly about 69. So we're seeing there's definitely an uptick in the number of properties that have sold. Not a huge, enormous uptick though. Now, the part that I know everybody's going to be asking me about, what's going on with the average sold price for the residential houses. So this continues to be a pretty good silver lining if you are a seller. So we're seeing the average sold price has gone up by over 8%. It was about $392 this time last year, year to date. Now we're looking a lot closer to about $424. So obviously a pretty big uptick in the average sold price. We'll talk about why that probably is in the summary. Let's switch gears a little bit and talk about what's going on in the condo market in Eagle River. Now, condos, I've said before, are not particularly common, not particularly popular in Eagle River, but they're still here. So this time last year, we saw there was about 22 condos that were on the market. This year, it's 24. So seeing a slight uptick in the inventory that's available for condos in Eagle River. The next thing is the number of condos that have actually sold in Eagle River. So what we see is that the number of condos actually went from about 6 the year before to 11 this year. Not a huge deal either way because it's a small market, but it is indicative that we are seeing a lot more demand for condos in this market than we had this time last year. All right, now let's take a look what's going on with the average sold price, because I know that's really what a lot of people are going to be interested in. So what we saw is this time last year, we had about 240,000, somewhere in there. And this year, the average sold price year to date is going to be about 261,000. So that's over 6% increase year over date. So pretty significant. We'll talk about why that is in the summary though. All right, we'll get to the multifamily properties in just a minute, but before I get started, let's go ahead and take a quick break here. And if you haven't checked out my Instagram page, certainly do so. The link for that is going to be down below. I kind of go through what it's like actually living up here in Alaska. I take lots of pictures on hikes and stuff. If you're here in the area, definitely hit me up. We'll pick a time we can go find a hike somewhere. So definitely do go check that out just to get a view for what's going on in Alaska. And without further ado, let's go and jump back into what's going on for the multifamilies and just give you a brief overview summary of everything. So the first thing we need to check out on the multifamilies is what's going on in the active inventory. And here what we're seeing is this time last year, there were 9 multifamily properties that were on the market. Now we're seeing that there is 4 multifamily properties that are on the market. We'll talk more about why that is in the summary and kind of give you a little bit more feel for the boots on the ground perspective of what we're seeing here in Eagle River. The next thing is how many properties have actually sold in Eagle River during the time period that we're looking at here. So there actually weren't any that sold. I think this time last year there was 1 or 2. And it kind of just speaks to the low volume we have for multifamily properties here in Eagle River. If there aren't a whole lot of options, you're not going to get a whole lot of closings. But yeah, no closings just yet. Lastly, the thing I know everyone's going to be asking, what's going on with the average sold price. So here what we're seeing is average sold price actually did go up by a little over 5%, but one thing to keep in mind is that multifamily does include a lot, okay? It can be anywhere from the little duplex up to, the huge multi-million-dollar apartment complex deal. It encompasses a lot. So I don't get as much value looking at the average sold price. It is up a little bit from last year. In previous years, you can obviously see that average sold prices enormous, and that's probably just because you get some of those bigger deals that were going on. So let's go and just do a quick summary of everything. Across the board on the residential side, we are still seeing low inventory, but the trend is for it to continue going up. That's really kind of the trend we've seen since March, and I'm kind of suspecting that's going to be the trend marching forward, which is a good thing. We need to start balancing out this market a little bit. It's been a very strong seller's market up till now. Condo side, it's a little bit on the smaller scale, but it's pretty much going to be the same thing, same takeaways we get on the residential side. For the multifamilies, Eagle River is going to continue to be a very attractive place for investors because of the low cap rate. And once you can get a property here, it's not going to require a whole lot of blood, sweat, and tears to really get it up and going and get it profitable, as long as you make all the math work off the get-go and you can get it for a good price. So we're seeing that's probably going to continue as well. If you're looking at selling, you don't get a better time really than this. If you're looking at buying, the deal is primarily going to be in being able to get good interest rates right now. And luckily, we are seeing signs of the market softening up a little bit. We had deals before where it'd be like, like 7+ offers within the first 24 hours. Still seeing multiple offers on a lot of properties, but not nearly as many as there were before. So it's starting to slow down a little bit. If you're looking at selling, you better jump on before you miss the boat, if you possibly can. If you're looking at buying, good news is things look like they're starting to turn a little bit here. So I sure hope this has been useful. If you do have questions for me directly, do reach out to me through my Facebook page or my website. The link for that is going to be down below. If you'd like the copy of my relocation guide, do make sure you reach out to me on my website and just put relocation and the little notes message thing where you're talking to me. But other than that, we'll talk with you later.